And then the next big thing happened. Then I started going to different places and pitching my projects. So because I had some really cool ideas, I thought, and when I would tell my agent about these ideas, he would go crazy and he would say, "Oh, you got to go out with this stuff." So the big one. So what ended up happening was I ended up selling 3 pitches within a 6-month period at the studios for a lot of money each one. But the one that actually was really the big breakthrough was I had set it up with Steven Spielberg. So that story, if you don't mind me telling.
No, yeah, this is fascinating. Yeah, let's hear it.
Right. So that story was pretty funny because what we did, and this sort of gives you a glimpse of what used to be, what the industry used to be like, because I don't think it is very much like this anymore, but at the time, the goal was the agent hooked me up with this one producer who's great, Robert Lawrence, and we sat there and the game plan was you go out in 2 days and you sit there and you hit all the different studios and you sit there and you do a pitch and you hope that one, that would be great, but 2 or 3 go for it and then you get into some kind of bidding war, right? So on the very first day we went out, at the end of the day, we already knew that Disney had made an offer. They were making an offer, but we had pitched it also to Dreamworks, which they were at that time a new company, mm-hmm. and we pitched to an executive, Jason Hoffs, and he loved it, and he wanted Spielberg to hear it, and so he briefly told Spielberg about it, and then he got back to us, our agent, and said, Steven wants to hear this tomorrow morning. So we said, oh wow, okay, that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And when we heard this news, we just walked out of our very last pitch meeting that day, and we heard that Disney had already made an offer, and now Spielberg was wanting to hear this. But all I heard was Spielberg, we're going to be pitching to Spielberg. And I mean, I was just so petrified and everything because I was the one that was doing the pitching. Robert was there and he would do the setup and then I was doing the pitching. And suddenly I'm like, what, I'm going to be pitching Spielberg? I was just like, and Robert saw that and we made the plan. Let's not close the deal with Disney. Let's at least pitch to Spielberg. And then he said, Richard, don't worry about it. I'll pitch it to Spielberg. And I was like, oh, thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So I went to sleep knowing, hey, look, worst case scenario, Disney, we got this thing sold. And then, Spielberg, but off the pitch. So we're walking up to see we're going to his house, but then we're walking up into the area to do the pitch. And at that point, that's when Robert turns to me and says, hey, so by the way, Richard, you are going to pitch this. And I said, what? What are you talking about? And he said, I just told you that so you get a good night's sleep. Richard, you've got to pitch this. Come on now. And so I pitched it. And I would just say to you, there have been times when I've been performing or just pitching, anything like that. And like when you're pitching, you're supposed to read the room. You're supposed to actually see people and see their reaction so that you can change things. You can speed things up, lose things if you don't see the reaction. Because you always want them to be thinking, so what happens next, and so you read the room. Well, in this case, I did what I would do sometimes is just blur out the audience. So I started up and Spielberg's there and he was just a blur. And then I finished and then he just said, I love this. I want to do this. And so we ended up going with DreamWorks and Spielberg, and it had made a big splash.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Selling Your Screenplay podcast. If you'd like to hear the full interview, just go to sellingyourscreenplay.com/podcasts. Or to go directly to the episode, just use the link in the show notes. Thanks for watching.